Okay, so this is topic 8 of the revised corporation code covering stockholders and members. So corporators, who are the corporators? Corporators are those who compose the corporation, which include stockholders or otherwise called shareholders in a stock corporation and members in a non-stock corporation. Okay, so another term for stockholders or members is corporator. So ang corporator sa stock corporation are called stockholders or shareholders. Ang corporator sa non-stock corporation, they are called members. So fundamentally, a stockholder has fundamental rights, okay, including corporate suffrage or the right to vote, the right to assent or dissent, which means the right to agree or disagree on major corporate actions. So voting rights. So the right to vote on matters specifically reserved for a stockholder by law, even if their shares are otherwise non-voting. So if you can still remember the previous lessons, there are stocks which are voting, there are stocks that have voting rights, and there are also stocks that have no voting rights. Pero yung non-voting stocks can still vote on certain very important matters. No, like shortening or lengthening the term of the corporation or yung major changes sa articles and bylaws. Okay, even non-voting shares can vote on those matters. Stockholder has also a right of appraisal. So the right of appraisal is the right to demand payment of the fair value of shares if the corporation undertakes fundamental changes that prejudice the stockholders' right. So itong right of appraisal, ito yung right ng isang dissenting stockholder, yung hindi ka nagboto, tapos natalo yung vote mo on fundamental changes of the corporation. You can have your stocks appraised at fair value and have it paid, have the corporation pay or buy your stocks at such price. So that is called the right of appraisal. Stockholder has also proprietary rights, no? They have ownership over shares, including the right to transfer shares and receive dividends. So ito yung rights ng stockholder, which are called proprietary rights: to own the shares, to transfer the shares, and to receive dividends therefore. Aside from that, a stockholder has also information rights. So as a stockholder, you have a right to inspect the corporate records, books, and minutes, and receive copies of the financial statements. That is a right of a stockholder. Participation in management. It's either stockholder can either participate by proxy or by voting trust, or in cases when stockholders' actions is required. The stockholder can also participate in voting. So proxy, what is proxy? Stockholders and members may attend and vote in all meetings in person or by proxy. So yung proxy is an agreement by a stockholder with another person, constituting said person to be his representative and allowing said person to attend meetings in behalf of the stockholder or the members. Yun yung proxy. So paano ba ang proxy? Yung form, the proxy must be in writing. Hindi pwede verbal. It must be signed and filed with the corporate secretary within a reasonable time before the meeting. So if you are a stockholder, you remember, and you want to send a proxy, it must be in writing, and you file it with the corporate secretary. And take note, it must be filed before the meeting of the corporation. And proxy, unless otherwise specified in the proxy form, it is valid only for the meeting for which it is intended. Okay? So if may proxy na document ka na binigay sa isang representative, that representative is only to attend that particular meeting. Yun lang ang authority niya. Unless otherwise sinulat mo doon sa proxy form na the representative can attend several meetings. But the proxy is valid and effective for a period not longer than 5 years at any one time. So yung proxy cannot go beyond 5 years. So after 5 years, you can issue another proxy to the said person if you want to continue attending meetings by proxy. Basta ang proxy cannot be more than 5 years at a time. So authorization, the form for proxies and the manner of voting them may be provided in the bylaws. Okay, so yung kung paano ang form ng proxy at paano mag-vote ang proxy, it may be provided or written in the bylaws kung paano gawin ng corporation. Voting trust. Voting trust is when one or more stockholders of a stock corporation enter into an agreement confirm upon a trustee or trustees the right to vote and other rights pertaining to their shares. So a voting trust is when a stockholder enters into an agreement with another person who is called the trustee. Kasi yung trustor, yun yung stockholder. Yung kausap niya is called the trustee. And then, ang usapan nila is yung right to vote and other rights can be can be exercised by the trustee for the trustor. So the term limit, a voting trust agreement may not exceed 5 years at one time. So parang proxy din. Hindi pwede magsobra ng 5 years. Unless it is a condition required in a loan agreement, in which case it expires upon full payment of a loan. Kasi sa voting trust, pwede kayong mag-stipulate ng inutangan mo. Halimbawa, stockholder ka ng corporation, may nautangan ka. And then, ang agreement ninyo is bibigyan mo siya ng creditor ng voting trust na siya yung mag-vote sa corporate meetings for you as long as existing yung loan. Okay? Siguro gusto mo kasigurado ng creditor na reverse niya yung investment mo doon sa corporation, pwede gawing agreement yun sa loan. So, anong formality sa voting trust? Yung agreement, yung voting trust agreement must be in writing and notarized. Nakanotaryo siya. And a certified copy must be filed with the corporation and the SEC. Take note sa corporation and then sa SEC din. Otherwise, it is ineffective and unenforceable. Okay? Yung proxy, i-file lang sa corporate secretary. Pero itong voting trust, i-file sa corporation as well as sa SEC. Transfer and inspection. The shares covered must be cancelled and a new certificate issued in the trustee's name, noting the agreement. And both the trustor and the trustee may exercise the right of inspection of all corporate books and records. So kung ikaw yung stakeholder, ikaw yung trustor, tapos you have somebody na binigyan mo ng voting trust agreement, yes, trustee, siya yung trustee. So when you file that voting trust agreement sa corporation, yung stocks mo ika-cancel and a new stock will be issued in the trustee's name. Of course, may nakanote doon under a voting trust agreement. No? And then, ikaw na stockholder as well as yung trustee mo, both of you have the right to exercise the right of inspection of all corporate books and records. So, prohibited purpose, hindi pwede ang voting trust agreement for the purpose of circumventing laws against anti-competitive practices, abuse of dominant position, violation of nationality capital requirements, or for the perpetuation of fraud. So, bawal ang voting trust para gawin tong mga bawal na ito. So cases when stockholders action is required, stockholders and members must approve major corporate actions, often requiring a vote of two-thirds of the outstanding capital stock or members. So the fundamental actions naman requiring two-thirds vote may include amendment of the articles of incorporation. By the way, itong mga enumerate ko is makaboto dito kahit yung mga non-voting shares because this is a fundamental action. It pertains to the very fundamentals of the corporation itself. So amendment of articles of incorporation, pwede magboto kahit yung non-voting shares. Number 2, adoption and amendment of bylaws unless delegated by the board, and the delegation is required na two-thirds, at least two-thirds vote of the standing capital stock. Or unless revocation is sought which requires a majority vote. So kapag na-delegate tapos gusto i-revoke, majority vote na lang ang pwede mag-revoke. What else? Number 3, all stockholders may vote in sale, lease, or disposition of all or substantially all of the corporate property and assets. 4, creating or increasing banded indebtedness, yung utang na banded. Increase or decrease in the authorized capital stock. Merger or consolidation with another corporation. Investment of corporate funds in another corporation or business for the purpose other than the corporation's primary purpose. Dissolution of the corporation if creditors are affected. 9, issuance of stock dividends. Removal of a director or trustee. Ratification of corporate opportunity acquisition by a director. Ratification of avoidable self-dealing contracts. Yung mga na-enumerate na yun, 12 yun, 12 instances. Holders of non-voting shares are entitled to vote on all matters listed in 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, and 8 unless otherwise provided by law. Okay, stockholders and members may vote in person or by proxy. Okay, so kung hindi sila maka-attend, pwede sila mag-send ng proxy who can vote in their behalf. Remote and absentia voting, pwede ba yun? They may also vote through remote communication or in absentia if authorized in the bylaws or by majority of the board. A person voting remotely is deemed present for the purposes of quorum. So pwede rin pala online, remote. Ito namang absentia voting is hindi ka maka-attend sa meeting pero nagpasabi ka na in advance na kung ano ang vote mo. Yun ang absentia voting. Absent ka pero nakaboto ka by signifying in advance kung ano yung gusto mo na vote. And then if you are voting online or remotely, you are considered present sa meeting. So election of in case of election sa stock corporation, stockholders entitled to vote use cumulative voting for the election of directors. They can multiply their total shares by the number of directors to be elected and cast all votes for one candidate or distribute them. So itong cumulative voting, okay, ang ibig sabihin niyan, kung ilang stocks ang meron ka, for example, 10 stocks, you have 10 stocks, and then ang ibobotong director is 5, so you multiply 10 stocks times 5 vacant position, so that is 50. 50, therefore you have 50 votes. Okay? Yung 50 votes mo, pwede mo iboto sa isang candidate lang, or you can distribute them. Kung gusto mo even or uneven, gusto mo 30 sa isa, 20 sa isa, bahala ka. Basta you have a total of 50 votes. That is called cumulative voting. For non-stock corporation, wala kasi silang stocks, no? So members generally cast as many votes as there are trustees to be elected. But typically, they may not cast more than one vote for one candidate unless the articles of bylaws provide otherwise. So sa election ng in case of stock corporation, ang election is ng members of the board of trustees is normal lang na voting. Wala kasing i-multiply na stocks kasi non-stock naman ito. Okay, joint ownership. When shares are jointly owned, the consent of all co-owners is required to vote the shares. So dapat may consent lang lahat ng may-ari ng if co-owner sila sa shares of stocks, unless they have provided a written proxy authorizing one person to vote. If shares are owned and or any joint owner may vote or appoint a proxy. So kung and or yun nakasulat doon sa certificate of stock, kahit sino sa mga co-owners can vote or appoint a proxy to vote. Secured creditors. Ano itong secured creditors? A stockholder who grants a security interest in their shares retains the right to vote unless the right is expressly given in writing to the secured creditor and recorded in the corporate books. Meaning, halimbawa, umutang ng stockholder, tapos siguro naka-mortgage yung kanya or prenda niya yung stocks niya doon sa creditor, pwede naman sila mag-usap na yung right to vote pansamantalang exercise ng creditor. Pwede yun. Pero yung agreement na yun must be in writing and recorded in the corporate books. So, bigyan nyo ng kopya yung corporate secretary para alam niya na yung may agreement na yung creditor ang magboto in behalf of the stockholder. O, ito yung proprietary rights ng isang stockholder. Appraisal right, right to inspect, preemptive right, right to vote, right to dividends. Unahin natin yung appraisal right. A stockholder, ditong appraisal right, under an appraisal right, a stockholder has the right to dissent, meaning to disagree, and demand the payment of fair value of the shares in several instances. Okay. Pag nag-disagree siya sa action ng corporation, he can ask for the payment of the fair value of the shares kasi alis na lang siya. Yun yung appraisal right. So, this includes, ito yung mga pwede i-disagree ng isang stockholder. Kung i-disagree niya, he can exercise his right of appraisal. Number 1, amendment of the articles that changes or restricts stockholders' rights, authorizes superior preferences, or extend and shortens the corporate term. Okay. Number 2, sale, lease, mortgage, or other disposition of all or substantially all corporate property and assets. Merger of or consolidation of the corporation, investment of corporate funds for any purpose other than the corporation's primary purpose. So ito yung pwede i-disagreehan ng isang stockholder na pag nag-disagree siya, he can exercise the right of appraisal. So, paano in-exercise at saka anong effect ng appraisal right? Yung dissenting stockholder, ang tawag sa stockholder na nag-dissent is as dissenting stockholder. Siya yung nag-disagree sa action ng corporation. Must make written demand. Take note, it must be a written demand, hindi pwede verbal. Within 30 days from the date the vote was taken. Pag sumobra ng 30 days, di na pwede mag-demand. So, payment must be made upon surrender. Yung payment by the corporation, babayaran niya yung stockholder, must be made upon surrender of the stock certificate, provided the corporation has unrestricted written earnings to cover the payment. So, yung dissenting stockholder gusto na umalis sa corporation, mag-demand siya na ibayaran siya ng fair value ng kanyang stocks, dapat isurrender niya yung stock certificate niya, and dapat merong unrestricted written earnings of corporation kasi kung wala hindi pwede mabayaran yung stockholder. Anong gagawin, sir? Eh di maghintay siya kung kailan may unrestricted written earnings. So from the time of demand, all rights accruing to the shares, including voting and dividend rights, are suspended. But they are immediately restored if the stockholder is not paid within 30 days after the fair value award. So, during the time na nag-demand siya, suspended lahat ng rights niya. And then restore lang if the stockholder is not paid within 30 days after the award. Right to inspect. Okay, the right of the stockholder or member to inspect. So any director, trustee, stockholder, or member has the right to inspect corporate books, including minutes of the meeting na book, records of transaction, and reports. So paano mag-exercise ng right to inspect? Inspection must be in person or by a representative, and it must be done in at reasonable hours on business days. Okay, hindi pwede unreasonable hours or hindi naman business day, baka sarado ang corporation. A written demand, again written siya, may be made for copies of records or excerpts at the inspecting party's expense. Sige, kung magpapa-photocopy yung stockholder na gusto mag-inspect at his own expense. Anong limitation nito? Yung right to inspect may be denied if the requesting party improperly used information secured from prior examination. So kung mayroon na siyang record na yung kinukuha niyang mga information is ginagamit niya sa improperly, maling paraan. So pwede na siya i-deny the second time around. Or the requesting party was not acting in good faith or for a legitimate purpose. So pwede siya i-deny. Or the stockholder is a competitor, director, officer, controlling stockholder, or otherwise represent the interest of competitor. So hindi pwede kapag ka-competitor ang nag-i-inspect. Malaman niya ang corporate secrets. Okay, so the stockholder can also inspect the financial statements. So that is why corporations must furnish a stockholder or member upon written request, written again, written. Its most recent financial statement within 10 days from demand. Preemptive right. Ano naman itong preemptive right ng stockholder? All stockholders of a stock corporation enjoy the preemptive right to subscribe to all issues or disposition of shares of any class in proportion to their respective shareholdings. Ano itong preemptive right? Okay, lahat ng mga existing stockholders, may right sila na unang bumili sa mga bagong shares na i-issue ng corporation. Ang right nila is the right to subscribe to the new shares of stocks to be issued in proportion to their shareholdings. For example, if you are a stockholder and you are holding 5% of the outstanding capital stock, so lahat ng mga bagong i-issue na mga stocks, you have a right to subscribe to 5% of that new shares. Okay, ito yung preemptive right. Sa'yo muna i-offer. Okay. Pero itong right na ito, pwede mo i-exercise, pwede rin i-waive. Okay. Pero importante dito is you have the right to subscribe first. So the shares that will be issued by the corporation in proportion to your shareholdings. So this preemptive right will not extend to shares issued under 3 specific conditions. So walang preemptive right dito sa tatlong ito. Number 1, the right is denied by the articles of incorporation. Okay? So yung preemptive right pwede i-deny basta nakasulat sa articles of incorporation na walang preemptive right yung stockholder. Number 2, when shares are issued to comply with laws requiring minimum public stock ownership. So kung merong batas na nagsasabi na a certain portion of the corporation must be owned by the public, yung portion na yon, wala preemptive right ang mga existing stockholders doon. Number 3, shares that are issued in good faith, basta approved by at least 2/3 of the stockholders, which is done in exchange for necessary property or in payment of a previously contracted debt. Okay. So kung pambayad sa utang or kung mag-i-issue ng bagong shares of stock para pambayad sa utang or pangbili ng property, walang preemptive right doon basta may stockholders approval of at least 2/3 of the outstanding capital stock. O in closed corporations, the preemptive right is broader kasi nga closed corporation, di basta-basta i-issue sa public yung shares of stocks. So it's broader, so it extends to all stock to be issued, including reissuance of treasury shares unless the articles provide otherwise. O yung right to vote, the right to vote of a stockholder or a member. The right to vote is fundamental to a stockholder's rights or member's rights, though it can be classified. Merong mga non-voting shares, yung mga preferred or redeemable shares may be deprived of voting rights, but there must always be a class or series of shares with complete voting rights, and often it is these shares pala are called, yung may mga voting rights are called common shares. Non-voting matters. Even non-voting shares retain the right to vote on fundamental changes, yung enumerated na mga instances kanina, such as amendments to the articles, merger, disposal of substantially all assets or dissolution. Itong mga matters na ito, even yung mga non-voting shares pwede magboto. So hindi lang sila pwede magboto, yung mga normal na day-to-day in the course of business, in the course of day-to-day transactions, wala silang boto doon. Ito lang yung mga fundamental changes. Delinquent stock, ano itong delinquent stock? No delinquent stock may be voted, be entitled to vote, or be represented at any stockholders meeting. Ang delinquent stock is ito yung subscribe ng stockholder pero hindi nabayaran. Yung single na hindi pa rin nabayaran, ang stock is declared delinquent. So as such, dahil delinquent, hindi siya pwede yung stockholder noon, yung stock na yon hindi pwede gamitin pang boto. Or hindi pwede magboto yon. Or walang karapatan sa stockholders meeting. Treasury shares, ano tong treasury shares? Treasury shares yung mga shares na sarili shares ng corporation na na-buyback nila. Okay, as such, treasury shares have no voting rights as long as they remain in the treasury. Okay. Oh, the right to dividends by the stockholder. So stockholders of stock corporations are entitled to dividends, and dividends may either be cash, property, or stock, declared by the board of directors, payable out of unrestricted retained earnings, and dividends are distributed on the basis of outstanding stock held. So ano yung dividends? Ang dividends are, ito yung share ng stockholders doon sa accumulated na profits ng corporation. So in short, yung dividends is the distribution of profits to the stockholders. So pwede cash ang i-distribute, pwede rin property, or pwede rin stocks ang i-issue. Basta ang pambayad doon, kukunin sa unrestricted retained earnings. So kung cash yung babayad, ang cash will be taken out from the unrestricted retained earnings. Kung property naman, okay, yung cost ng property, siguro bibilhin ng property, kunin din sa unrestricted retained earnings yung pambayad bago i-distribute yung property doon sa stockholders. Yung shares of stocks naman, i-issue doon sa mga stockholders, then ang cost noon kukunin din sa unrestricted retained earnings. And then, take note, ang dividends are distributed on the basis of outstanding stock held. Usually, ganito ang pag-issue ng dividend. For example, you're a stockholder and you are holding 10 shares. Pag mag-declare ng dividends ang board of directors, take note, is the board of directors na nag-declare ng dividends. Sabi ng directors, for every 1 share of stocks, merong 1 peso and 50 centavos. Di multiply mo sa number of shares mo, 10 shares times 1.5, yun yung dividends na matatanggap mo. Meaning, if you have more stocks, you have more dividends. And hindi ito applicable sa non-stock corporation because wala silang stocks and they are not entitled to dividends. Delinquent stocks. May dividends ba ang delinquent stocks? So cash dividends due on delinquent stock must be applied toward the unpaid subscription balance. Stock dividends must be withheld from delinquent stockholders until the subscription is fully paid. So yung delinquent stocks hindi pwede makaboto, hindi pwede maka-attend ng meeting, pero entitled pa rin yun sa dividends. Pero yung dividends nila, if cash, pambayad muna doon sa utang ng subscription. Kung stock dividends naman ang na-issue, it must be withheld from the delinquent stockholder until nabayaran niya yung buong subscription. Sir, paano yung property? Dapat i-withheld din yun kasi unpaid nga yung ang stocks. For non-stock corporation, no part of a non-stock corporation's income is distributable as dividends to its members, trustees, or officers, although incidental profits must be used for the corporation's purpose. So, walang dividends ang non-stock corporation. Ang profits niya gagamitin lang for the corporation's for purposes of the corporation. So upon dissolution of a non-stock corporation, assets are distributed according to the specific hierarchy and plan, if any. So kasali na doon yung mga profits na na-accumulate. Merong dissolution plan para doon ang non-stock corporations, which will be discussed doon sa topic ng dissolution. Remedial rights of stockholders and members. Anong pwedeng anong pwedeng i-file ng kaso ng mga stockholders? Number 1, individual suit, representative suit, derivative suit. Yung individual suit muna, what is that? An individual suit is a legal action brought by a stockholder on his own name against the corporation for wrongdoing directly to him, violating his personal contractual rights such as the right to inspect corporate records or receive dividends. So pag stockholder nagkaso sa corporation, that is an individual suit if siya, ang kaso niya is siya ang involved, kahit siyang na-violate ng corporation, siya mismo ang magpa-file for his own behalf. Individual suit ang tawag doon. Representative suit. Ano yun naman itong representative suit? Representative suit, also known as a class suit, is a legal action brought by one or more stockholders on behalf of themselves and other shareholders who have a similar interest in the case. So itong representative suit is a group of stockholders. Pwede rin isa. But yung kaso, yung suit, ang tawag dun sa kaso is suit or action, is filed in court in representation of themselves or other stockholders. And then silang lahat may the same interest, similar interest doon sa kaso. This type of suit, yung representative suit, is appropriate when a wrong is committed against a group of stockholders, such as when the rights of specific class of shareholders like preferred stockholders are violated. So for example, may ginawa ang corporation that violates the rights of preferred stockholders. Yung mga preferred stockholders, pwede silang mag-file ng representative suit against the corporation para sa lahat ng mga preferred stockholders. Kaya siya tinawag na representative suit. Ito example. If a corporation improperly violates the rights of all preferred stockholders, those preferred stockholders could file a representative suit collectively seek redress. Let's go to derivative suit. Ito ang importante din ito. And then unique. Unique. What is a derivative suit? A derivative suit is a lawsuit, kaso pa rin, filed by a shareholder on behalf of the corporation to enforce a corporate cause of action, especially when the directors or officers have failed or refused to do so. So itong derivative suit is kaso ito against doon sa directors or officers na ayaw mag-aksyon. Okay. Halimbawa, pag may importanteng dapat aksyonan ng directors or officers, then they failed or refused to do so, pwede mag-file ng derivative suit yung stockholder on behalf of the corporation para pilitin yung mga directors or officers to act on a particular corporate matter. Dito sa derivative suit, ang talagang party in interest is the corporation. And dahil ang corporation naman, hindi naman tao, invisible siya, so ang nag-act in behalf of the corporation, yung stockholder against the directors and officers. So the corporation is the real party in interest, and any damages recovered will go to the corporation and not the individual shareholder who is considered a mere nominal party. So yung nag-file ng case is just a nominal party because the real party is the corporation. So this is an exception to the general rule that the board of directors exercises the corporation's power to sue. And it is an exception to the business judgment rule. O, di ba? Yung corporation class, yung pinaka may power to run the corporation is yung board of directors. Okay? Hindi ang stockholders. Yung corporate powers nasa board of directors, wala sa stockholders. Okay, pero dito sa derivative suit, ito ay exemption doon sa business judgment rule na yung board of directors lang ang pwede magpatakbo ng corporation. Kasi ang real party talaga dito is ang corporation. Kaya nominal party lang yung nag-file ng case. Yung nag-file ng case, ginawa niya yun para sa corporation. So it's an exception to the business judgment rule. So anong gagawin para mag-file ng derivative suit? Number one, the shareholder must have been a shareholder at the time of the wrongful act, not the time the suit is filed. Kasi kung hindi na siya stockholder, wala na siyang karapatan mag-file ng case for derivative suit. Number two, the cause of action must be harm to the corporation itself, not to the individual shareholder. So nakakasama yung gusto niyang action is ay yung ginagawa ng board of directors or officers nakakasama sa corporation. So yung nag-file ng case na shareholder gusto niya lang i-save yung corporation, hindi sarili niya. Number three, internal remedies must have been exhausted. That is, the shareholder must have tried all available options within the corporate structure before filing the suit. So before siya mag-file ng suit, ang stockholder, dapat gawin niya muna ang lahat na to persuade the stakeholders or officers to act on the matter. If hindi nag-act, then the suit must be filed in the name of the corporation. Hindi pwede diretso kaso. Okay, pag-usapan muna nila ng directors at saka trustees. Try muna kausapin. Pag hindi talaga mag-action, saka pa mag-file ng derivative suit. Okay, so ano naman ang obligations ng stockholder? So the primary obligations of a stockholder relate to capital contribution and proper conduct. Yun ang pinaka-obligation ng stockholder, yung bayaran yung kanyang contribution and then proper conduct of the stockholder. So number one is the payment of subscription. So yung subscribers are liable to pay for their unpaid subscriptions. Yun ang obligation ng isang subscriber. Along with accrued interest on the date specified or when called upon by the board. Failure to pay within 30 days from the due date renders the stock delinquent. So, yung subscriber, pag nag-demand na ang board na bayaran, and subscriber failed to pay within 30 days, after 30 days, yung stock will be declared delinquent. So, a stockholder's fiduciary duty in the case of stockholders of closed corporation. So, stockholders of a closed corporation actively engage in the management of the corporation and are held to strict fiduciary duties to each other. So, yung sa closed corporation, every stockholder kasi nga closed corporation, dapat strict fiduciary duties. Ibig sabihin ng strict fiduciary duties is faithfulness to one another. Walang traidoran. Okay. Okay, in the case naman of a one-person corporation, dahil nag-iisa lang yung stockholder, meron siyang obligation to disclose. A single stockholder claiming limited liability in an OPC has the burden of affirmatively showing the corporation was adequately financed. Failure to prove that the OPC's property is independent of the stockholder's personal property results in the stockholders being jointly and severally liable for the OPC's debts. So yung OPC, dapat ma-distinguish, hindi ihalo yung property ng stockholder na nag-iisang stockholder at saka yung property ng corporation. Dapat ma-distinguish yun kung ano ang properties ng personal property ng single stockholder, ano din yung mga properties ng OPC. Pag hindi ma-distinguish at saka nakumingle yung mga properties, okay, yung limited liability ng single stockholder magiging baliwala because the single stockholder will be jointly and severally liable for the debts of the one-person corporation. Okay, ito, stockholders meeting. Yung meeting ng stockholders, take note ha, meeting ito ng stockholders, hindi ito meeting ng board. Iba yung meeting ng board, iba din yung meeting ng stockholders. Ito, stockholders meeting may be regular or special. Ang regular meetings ng stockholders, annual, once a year. Okay, kailan ang date nito? It is held annually on a date fixed in the bylaws. Or if unfixed, kung walang nakasulat sa bylaws, the annual meeting may be on any date after April 15 of every year as determined by the board. Kasi baka busy pa yung accounting. Tapos April 15 pang deadline ng buwis. After April 15 siguro tapos na yung financial statements, na-determine na yung net income, meron ng audited financial statements, o pwede na yung mag-meeting ang stockholders after April 15 if the date is not fixed in the bylaws. O pwede rin mag-special meeting ang stockholder. It is held at any time when necessary or provided in the bylaws. And a stockholder member may propose the holding of a special meeting and items for agenda. Pwede mag-special meeting. Notice of meetings. Written notice, take note, written notice must be sent to all stockholders or members of record, personally or by registered mail electronically. Electronically meaning through electronic mail. Regular meetings. Notice must be sent 21 days prior to the meeting unless a different period is required in the bylaws or by law. Special meetings. Notice. Written notice of special meetings must be sent at least 1 week prior to the special meeting unless a different period is provided. Pwede i-waive ang notice. Waiver. A notice may be waived expressly or impliedly, but general waivers of notice in the articles of bylaws are not allowed. Attendance constitutes waiver of notice unless a person attends solely to object because the meeting was improperly called. So, if you are a stockholder, pwede mo i-waive na kahit hindi na ako i-notify. Okay? Pag hindi ka naka-receive ng notice of meeting, tapos nag-attend ka sa meeting, waiver din yun na hindi ka na, nag-agree ka na hindi ka nag-notify pero nag-attend ka naman. Unless nag-attend ka para mag-object doon sa meeting kasi walang notice. It was improperly called. Place and time of meeting. Saan ba mag-stockholders meeting? At anong time? Stockholders or members meeting must be held in the principal office of the corporation. Sa principal office of the corporation, or if impracticable, if hindi pwede sa office ng corporation, it must be held in the city or municipality where the principal office is located. O anywhere doon sa city or municipality kung nasaan yung principal office. Metropolitan areas like Metro Manila, Metro Cebu, Metro Davao are considered a single city or municipality for this purpose. So kung the corporation is in Davao, the meeting can be held anywhere in Metro Davao if the principal office is not available or it is impracticable to hold a meeting sa principal office. Sa non-stock corporation may exception. Non-stock members may hold meetings at any place, even outside the principal office, provided it is within the Philippine territory and proper notice is given. Okay, pwede any place pero nasa loob pa rin ng Pilipinas. And then the proper notice is given to members. Closing of books. The stock and transfer book or membership book must be closed at least 20 days for regular meetings and 7 days for special meetings before the scheduled date unless the bylaws provide a longer period. Ano itong stock and transfer book? Diyan nakasulat kung sino yung mga stockholders. Membership book naman ang tawag sa non-stock. Doon nakasulat kung sino mga members. Kailangan i-close siya 20 days for regular meetings and 7 days for special meetings para alam ng corporate secretary kung sino yung dapat pwede lang mag-attend ng meeting. So kapag ka na-close na yung books, yung wala doon sa listahan ng stockholders or members book, hindi pwede mag-attend ng meeting. Ibig sabihin ito yung cut-off na pwede mag-attend ng meeting yung mga stockholder as of this date o yung may cut-off siya. Kaya gina-close yung book. Quorum. What is quorum? A quorum consists of the stockholders representing a majority of the outstanding capital stock or in case of non-stock corporation, a majority of the members. Unless may nakasulat sa bylaws kung iba ang quorum na gusto nila. Okay, pero pag if walang nakasulat, it means majority of the outstanding capital stock. Eh kung gusto nilang 75% must be present para magkaroon ng quorum, ay sulat nila sa bylaws. Kung hindi man nakasulat, ang need lang is majority of the outstanding capital stock or majority of the members. For the election of directors or trustees, the owners of a majority of the outstanding capital stock or majority of the members entitled to vote must be present in person or through a representative. That is self-explanatory. Okay, a stockholder member participating through remote communication or in absentia shall be deemed present for purposes of quorum. Present pa rin sila, consider present. Yung remote communication, siguro online siya nag-attend. Yung in absentia naman, wala siya pero in advance nagsabi na siya kung anong gusto niyang vote. So pag bilang ng quorum, kasama sila. Kasama sila sa pagbilang ng quorum. Maybe yung actual present hindi nakaabot ng majority pero i-add mo yung mga nasa remote communication pati yung in absentia. Para maabot yung quorum, pwede yun. Minutes and agenda of meeting. So every meeting, kailangan may minutes. Meron din agenda. The notice of meeting must be accompanied by the agenda for the meeting. Minutes book. Ito nakasulat yung minutes of the meeting. Every corporation must keep the minutes of all meetings of stockholders or members. The minutes must set forth in detail the time and place, how the meeting was authorized, the notice given, the agenda, and those present and absent, and every act done during the meeting. Annual requirements. At regular meetings, yung annual, the board must endeavor to present the minutes of the most recent regular meeting, yung list na minutes, i-present sa mga nag-attend, including voting procedures, a record of questions asked and answered, matters discussed, and voting results for each agenda item. In case of an OPC, kasi nag-iisa lang naman siya a one-person corporation is not required to submit bylaws. When action is needed, the single stockholder must prepare a written resolution, signed, dated, and recorded in the minutes book. The date of recording is named the date of the meeting. Siya lang kasi mag-isa So maggawa lang siya ng sarili niyang resolution. Or remote communication. Stockholders or members may attend meetings and cast their votes through remote communication such as video or teleconferencing or in absentia if authorized by the bylaws or majority of the board of directors. The notice of meeting must specify the requirements and procedures for remote attendance or voting in absentia. The SEC, the Securities and Exchange Commission, is empowered to issue rules and regulations governing participation and voting through remote communication, consistent with the basic right of corporate suffrage. So, pwede mag-issue ng rules ang SEC about remote communication. So, the right to vote through remote communication or in absentia may be exercised by corporations vested with public interest, even if their bylaws do not expressly authorize it. Oh, that is the end of topic number 8 on stockholders and members.